All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Wrestling Show. Tonight, so far with us, the first one in here was the Tactical Fud, otherwise known as Buck. How are you tonight?
Doing good, and how's everybody doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Next in was Kingpin, the co-host of the show. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. Good to see everybody.
Yep. And then out there in the chat, we got MKJO and Mystic Guns was out there earlier. So evening, ma'am, and MKJO. So yeah, how's your days been today?
Been pretty damn long for me so far.
Pretty average, nice and quiet, which is good.
So I don't know if y'all have heard what's going on with AEW. I was trying to find on their website what's going to be coming up at the next Dynamite, but the next Dynamite may as well be a pay per view on Wednesday. They got some serious matches scheduled.
Say that again?
The next Dynamite, AEW Dynamite, might as well be a pay per view. They got some serious matches scheduled for that show. Got Minoru Suzuki defending his newly won um, ROH Television Championship against Samoa Joe. That's probably going to end up being the main event, I would think. Maybe not, but yeah, it's going to be a interesting night on Wednesday. And then
Regular, like TV.
yeah, regular TV. That's on TNT. That's on TBS. Excuse me. That used to be on TNT, but that one's on TBS now. And then on Friday on TNT on Rampage, which is going to be at 7 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock Eastern, they're going to have a Texas death match between Hangman Adam Page and Adam Cole for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So those are two pretty serious matches that could be pay-per-view headliners that are going to be for free on just regular cable or satellite television.
That's always pretty good when they put headliner matches for free on television.
Mm-hmm. So there's some other stuff going on too. Nick Khan. Nick Khan works for WWE, not AEW. Tony Khan had a company do a study to see what the deal is with all the people on Twitter saying bad stuff about AEW. And the preliminary results of that study, most of them are bots. You'll have one person on Twitter say something and then have a bunch of bots retweeting it. And I would assume that's been going on Facebook as well, because he said on social media, period, it's been going on. But he specifically used the example of Twitter in his Twitter post, ironically enough, about it. Basically, you got people on Twitter using the same kind of shenanigans as some people on YouTube were caught having. If you remember back a year or so ago when people were getting caught with the fake subscribers that they were paying for, you basically got people doing that same thing on Twitter just for whatever reason to give AEW a bad name. And there is no connection to WWE whatsoever or any other federation. So what do you guys think about that one?
I don't know. I stay away from Twitter. I ain't never really used it that much.
I really don't either. But for somebody to go and do something like that, I'm not the least bit surprised. you know, People are going to be petty and do stuff like that. So can't say I'm surprised by it. What about you, Kingpin?
Are you still talking about the Elon Musk thing?
No, not the Elon Musk thing.
What are we talking about?
Oh, Tony Khan had a study done by an independent research facility that, and the results of the study, because he wanted to find out what's going on with Twitter and social media in general, why they're getting such bad press on there. So he did like what companies do, and he hired a research firm to look into it. And the results of their study so far are showing that there are people using bots in paying companies that do this kind of thing with bots to make AEW look like it's got bad publicity on Twitter and social media.
Well, I mean, you don't need to put together a separate team or investigators. Google admitted that stuff, and DuckDuckGo even came out and admitted that they were going to start, censoring and deplatforming stuff and reworking their algorithms so certain things will get higher clicks. I mean, we know that the internet's frozen.
I guess I'm not the least bit surprised that would happen, but even if you know, no, sorry, good.
The only way, like the ratings, you can't really count the ratings because if there's tomfoolery going on, then there's people pencil whipping with the numbers. Only way you can really tell is when you're watching the events on a Wednesday night, like whether it be SmackDown or whatever comes on Wednesday night, and then the A&E thing, and just look at the butts in the seats, and then try to find a way to look up ticket sales and different stuff like that, merchandising. Is I don't think you can trust the social media numbers for sure, and you probably can't trust like the Nielsen rating type of stuff either.
Yeah. Well, the Nielsen rating things are based on those little computer devices, so who knows how? That's what for years that's what people have used. So who knows on those either anymore? But yeah, they did MKJO at the last pay per view. But this is probably, with it being the Texas Death Match, this will probably be the blow off to the feud. So, and then they'll probably move on to something else from there, depending on what happens here. At least for a while, anyway, because with AEW you get much longer storytelling and everything going forward than what you do with WWE. WWE, they don't know a month ahead of time what they're doing. So, but yeah, that match should be an interesting one though. Yeah. See how that goes. Texas Death Match in Dallas, Texas, I believe. That's where they're going to be on Wednesday.
Damn, that was where Ghost was raised, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, sure was.
Winner, winner.
Yeah. Winner, chicken dinner. Well, no chicken dinner because Gary gave away a cleaning kit yesterday instead of a. Yeah, the thing. Or maybe they're not going to be in Dallas. Maybe they're. Where the hell are they going to be? Damn it! No, I forget. Let me look this up. Yeah, Wednesday's the 13th.
So what's up with this Wednesday night lineup? You want to go through some of that?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. All right, what do we got going on Wednesday? We got us a where's it at?
Oh, and by the way, I guess I can share it with everybody now. MK Joe and Fiend Dog are going to be hosting a live show on Wednesday
Oh, are they?
with the wrestling as the background. So make sure everybody tune into that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to check that out. Is it going to be this Wednesday?
Oh yeah, during the wrestling show.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Wednesday is not when the match between Suzuki and Samoa Joe is, unless this is wrong. No, yeah, this might be wrong because that was just announced. What was Friday? Friday was yeah. So this article's from the 6th. So yeah, this is probably wrong. But in addition to the Samoa Joe and Minoru Suzuki for the ROH Television Championship, they're also going on Wednesday to be having the Lucha Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus defending the tag team championships against Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. And there's a 6-man tag between Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz versus Jericho and a couple of his peoples. Doesn't say who. So that's what's going to be on Wednesday on that show. Oh, okay, here it is. Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and Daniel Garcia. So that's shaping up to be a good show. Then, like I said, Friday they're having that Texas Death Match. Yeah, that one's in Dallas. That's the one. I know that one's in Dallas. I was thinking Wednesday was going to be Dallas too because they usually film Rampage after Dynamite, but Rampage is going to be live this week coming up.
And you say that's on TNT?
Yeah, that'll be on TNT
Rampage?
that'll be TNT Friday night.
I don't think I have that.
And then Dynamite's on Wednesdays on TBS. Be interesting to see which match they have as the main event, whether it's going to be Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus Red Dragon or Suzuki defending against Samoa Joe.
Why isn't this Luchasaurus character a solo wrestler going after like the heavyweight title?
Well, he probably will be at some point. But right now they got him tagging with Jungle Boy. They've remember the AEW hasn't been around that long, so they got to build people up. And one of the ways that they'll build people up that people may not know is to have them do the tag team division. It's one of the things that the tag team division's for. And then they'll have tag teams break up, and then people go after individual titles and stuff. So, I mean, remember that's how Bret Hart got over in WWE before he ever went on became their champion with the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, but Bret Hart's not 6'8" and can do triple backflips.
Oh yeah, I know.
I don't think
aware of that.
Luchasaurus needs any warming up. I think you just need to let the guy go do what he does. I mean, he's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, but there's only so many guys, and so many belts, and there's so many guys, so got to put them somewhere, and he got put into the tag team division, which most of his career so far in independence and in AEW, he's been a tag team wrestler. So. I think the only time he wasn't a tag team wrestler is when he was in NXT for a cup of coffee. That was a long time ago. No idea what they're doing on the range at MKJO. He was supposed, according to what I've seen, he was supposed to on Friday come out and lay down what the new plan was going to be. And the new plan is that the Usos have to unify the tag team titles. So I have no idea what's going on with the unified title. They did bring out a new belt that shows that they're unified or anything. So your guess is as good as mine on that. They haven't said diddly squat on that front yet. So I don't even know if he was on Raw on Monday. I know he was on SmackDown on Friday. But yeah. Take it for what it's worth. It's Vince McMahon. He doesn't always plan out the next move right away anymore. So. Hell, I don't even remember who the tag team champions are on Raw. I know we just saw them at WrestleMania, and I don't remember who it is. Damn it, now I gotta go over there and look. It's gonna drive
Is
me
it the
nuts.
barefoot dude? The barefoot skateboard guy? Champion?
Yeah, Orton might be. Yeah, might be RK Bro.
Yeah, I think it is, ain't it?
Yeah, I'll find out in a minute.
Rings a bell, anyway.
Yeah, I know they were on the card. They screwed up WWE.com so bad. Yep, that's who it is. It's, RK Bro. Yeah. Randy Orton and Riddle.
Watch out, Rich. I'm gonna catch up to you on that wrestling trivia.
Uh-huh. Oh, hell, man. I hardly ever pay attention to WWE anymore except for when we're doing, like, the pay-per-views. I still think it's kind of BS that they didn't have either the Intercontinental or United States Championships defended during WrestleMania. So
You guys find, like, I know my vision on it, but when you sit down and watch a WWE event and then you sit down and watch an AEW event, it feels like you're watching something different, doesn't it?
yes, it absolutely does.
What do you think, Buck?
Yeah, I think. Well, WWE, they got too much talk, just too much crap with them, I think. And
Yeah.
AEW, is more like old school wrestling back in the day,
Yeah.
where they go down and talk crap.
Yeah. Here's the perfect thing that you can do to compare AEW to WWE. And we'll leave WrestleMania out of it. Go back to the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania, the pre-show on WWE. Was there a single wrestling match on that pre-show? Nope.
What, before?
Yeah, the one before Elimination Chamber. There wasn't a single match on that pre-show.
No, they talked for like 2 hours.
No, that was an hour for that one.
Hour, that one.
Yep.
Seemed like 2 hours.
Now go back to the AEW pay-per-view that we just watched that Buck was so generous to pay for. They had three matches. They had 3 matches on the pre-show.
And pretty damn decent ones, too.
Yeah. So right there is a microcosm of WWE to AEW. Right there in 2 pre-shows, one for each brand. I mean, that right there gives you an idea of how different things are for each of those.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think the female wrestling in the pre-show was a whole lot better than the ones they had on the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time you saw a no disqualification match for the World Heavyweight title on Raw or SmackDown? Has to have been a decade, maybe longer.
Did you guys ever go to the Ringling Brothers Circus?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, way
Did you
back.
ever did you ever go to a non-Ringling Brothers circus, like maybe the Moscow Circus or like some other local traveling circus?
Yeah, I went to Shriners the one that they used to do.
Two totally different things, right?
Hmm, not really. I mean, honestly, because they were both in like arenas. The Shrine Circus was actually bigger because it was in Three River Stadium, whereas Ringling Brothers was in the old Civic Arena.
It just that's kind of how I feel about when I watch like WWE is like the Ringling Brothers, and they're gonna have all the pageantry and lighting and all that kind of stuff. And then AEW is more of the Moscow Circus, where you're gonna see, bears doing the trapeze with no nets.
Yeah, the Shrine Circus was very similar to the Ringling Brothers Circus. They weren't too different. No, I've never seen the Moscow Circus, so yeah, like you said, that could have been different. But yeah, I mean, from
I mean, it's basically, I mean, a circus is a circus, so it's basically the same, just like wrestling's wrestling, but just the feeling and the vibe that you get, this is different.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. For what comparing the Shrine Circus to the Ringling Brothers Circus, they're almost the same thing. So I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the Moscow Circus, so I can't comment on what the vibe between that and Ringling Brothers was. That's all I would say. But it's like Ringling Brothers and Circus of the Stars on TV. You know what I mean? Yeah, those were definitely different feels.
Maybe like watching Chris Angel versus watching David Blaine.
Yeah, okay. Or oh, what's the other guy? David Copperfield.
Yeah, both. See, I put Chris Angel and David Copperfield in the same category. Like they're gonna do big, fancy, crazy stuff where David Blaine's gonna make a cigarette disappear in his hand and make it appear in his other hand. That kind of cool sleight of hand stuff that you can do
Yeah,
face to face with people.
yeah, kind of like what Penn and Teller do.
Yeah. I mean, they're both. I like watching Chris Angel do his, you know, stunts and different stuff like that because he makes a good show out of it. But I'd rather watch David Blaine in person.
Mm-hmm.
At WWE, it's cool to see Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns battle, but for my money, the Luchasaurus guy, and even the women, I think the women put on a better show. I think there's more potential talent in some of the WWE stars than the women in the other, but I think the women in the other put on better show.
Yeah, most of AEW's women roster suck. I mean, I'm just going to put it to you. I'm just going to come right out and say it. But the ones that are at the top of the women's card are good. Are probably better than WWE's women's card.
My girl Bianca needs to cut that ponytail and grab Ric Flair and head over and rock the house over at AEW. Those two girls go over to AEW, and I think they'd make a hit.
Yeah, it's crazy because Charlotte Flair's fiance is in AEW. She's engaged to Andrade, the one Mexican wrestler over there. The one that came out to the ring wearing like a suit with a mask and he takes the mask off. If you remember back to the pay per view.
And, I remember what we were talking about 30 seconds ago. I don't know. I just evaluating it from like an outside perspective because I'm not like a fan. I just enjoy watching it with you guys. You get, especially like you. I know this is your thing, so I want to be a part of something that you're interested in, Rich. And then it's cool that Buck and Jason and barbecue and everybody joins us when they can. But so being able to sit back from a purely entertainment perspective and evaluate some of the matches and the characters and different stuff like that, it's been pretty fun. I think that Bianca Belair should be a superstar.
Yeah, she is pretty good, ain't she?
Hmm. I think she's actually doing better on the main roster than she did in NXT. In NXT, she was floundering around a little, and they never really had her challenge much for the NXT title. But she seems like they Vince sees something more in her on the main roster than what they were using her in NXT for.
And when they starting out like that too, though, to me it seems like if they take her and put her up against somebody that don't know that much, she ain't gonna wrestle as hard, and you know, and show what she's got. Just in my opinion of it,
Hmm.
you wrestle better when you have better people to wrestle.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say.
What's crazy is some people do better in NXT than they do on the main roster, and then some people do better on the main roster than they do in NXT. It's like you get players will be really good in college, and then they get up to like the NFL, and then they can't play for shit. Or you get a guy who's not really good in college who gets into the NFL, and all of a sudden he's really good in the NFL. You get that with pro wrestling too.
Yeah, well, you got to look at it too. NXT was like a small group of people. They kind of grew up together and learned together, and
Yeah, something like
they're
that.
familiar with each other, I guess you would say.
Hmm.
And then they jump out into the big world, and it's all new to them,
Yeah,
pretty
like
much.
yeah, Bianca Belair, the one that Jason and Kingpin like to call a guy. Um, and both of them came up through NXT at the same time in the women's division.
But that dude is not talented. Like he's got no athleticism. He's not limber at all. Uh, his acting ability is slacking. Like even that little girl that like sits there and like the demon girl, the little tiny one that we like.
Hmm.
Even when she's sitting there like in her trance as a demon, even that she's like entertaining with it. You know what I mean? But the big chick that me and Jason call a dude, she's just not. I don't think. I think maybe she should go down to the minors and get some more practice.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of this is the way Vince wants her to wrestle too. If you go back and you watch when she was in the Mae Young Classic before she joined NXT officially, she was doing like all kinds of crazy backflips and shit. She has the ability. It's just the way Vince wants her to wrestle. And he does this to a lot of people, which is why you get a lot of people that eventually end up asking for their releases and whatnot from the company because Vince wants them to do something that they don't do, that they never did until they got to WWE. Because he has to micromanage everything. Even when you watch when she first got to NXT until when she got called up, you could see how her character was changing, where she was going from being faster, more limber kind of moves to where it's like you said, she looks stiff as a board now because they want her to be some kind of super strong monster character because of her height. And she's really not that tall. She's not as tall as Charlotte. She just wears the thicker sole in her boot that makes her look taller.
You're right.
So
She's not that hot neither.
no, he's definitely not hot. So is the paycheck that much better at WWE, or is it just the prominence of saying that you wrestled for WWE that gets people to stick around so much? Like, if it's such a hostile work environment, why don't big stars run their contracts out? Like, why didn't NXT and all these other places get Hulk Hogan's and like I don't know who's
Well, they have.
Brock Lesnar and Raymond Reigns and
Well, Lesnar and Roman are being paid a hell of a lot of money,
Well,
but
that's
there
what I'm
are
saying.
people.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
sure
there are.
WWE's got a much bigger bank account.
Yeah, but there are people that have said, "Nope, I'm not resigning here," and left. John Moxley, who used to be Dean Ambrose, who was a main eventer in WWE. He was a multi-time world champion, multi-time tag team champion, multi-time USA and Intercontinental champion with the Shield. You're, excuse me. If you look at the Shield, it was Moxley, Rollins, and Reigns. One of those guys took off as soon as his contract was up, and he could get out of there. He was out. Daniel Bryan, who is now going by his real name, Bryan Danielson, and ironically enough, is in a stable now with John Moxley that is managed by William Regal. So there are people that have taken off from WWE when their contracts are up. FTR was in NXT, and then they were on the main roster. Their contracts came up. They didn't re-sign with WWE because they were tired of the nonsense. So there are, and they were main event tag team level tag team. They've had held both the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles at one point, and were also former NXT tag team champions. So there are people when their contracts come up are not re-signing with WWE. People are waiting to see what's going on with the guy named Johnny Gargano, who was an NXT mainstay, who, when his contract came up, did not re-sign with WWE. And his wife just had a baby, so he hasn't signed anywhere yet. So people are waiting to see what happens with him, where he's going to go. So I mean, there are people that are leaving WWE. Andrade left. Rusev, who is what the hell's he go by now? Hell, he's been out so long I don't remember what the hell his name is in AEW. Miro, that's what it is. He's out injured, but he's gone from. He was in WWE. He was a former Intercontinental and U.S. Tag Team champ, U.S. Heavyweight, and I believe he held Tag Team champions at one point. But yeah, so there are guys and girls that are leaving WWE. The only person so far that's gone the opposite direction is Cody Rhodes, and that's because he didn't get what he wanted in AEW because he wanted more than what the company valued him at. Essentially, what that amounted to. And he said in an interview that they just grew apart, that they weren't as close as what they used to be. But yeah, there are people that are definitely leaving WWE when their contracts expire and whatnot. It's just Vince is going to throw a hell of a lot of money at the big guys when their contracts come up.
How old is Vince right now? 80?
Late 70s, I think. I'm not sure exactly how old he is. The internet, it's not hard to find out. Vince was born in 1945. So he's not quite 80. Maybe 77.
We pretty much established that Stephanie and what's his name, Vince Jr. Aren't going to be taking over the company when he leaves.
No, probably not.
So he'll probably sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, within the next 5 years, he'll probably sell it.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll even take that long with everything that's been going on with there. So.
Are they still laying people off?
Yeah, I was just about to say, so far this year, they really haven't let anybody go, which is amazing.
Could you imagine a scenario where he just dissolves the company before he dies and it goes away?
No, I don't see that happening. With the company going public, he really couldn't do that. Even with him being the sole majority shareholder, I mean, not the sole shareholder, majority shareholder, it's going to be a lot harder to do that for legal reasons. if he were still the sole owner of the company, like back in the '80s, I wouldn't want to wager against it. His ego, according to what everybody says, he's got an ego, according to what everybody says. But yeah, I think he's going to end up selling before too long. I still
Yeah,
think
I
that's going to
probably
happen.
know somebody who'll probably buy it. Probably Elon Musk. He'll probably
No,
buy it.
no. Disney and NBC are both reportedly been interested in buying.
You have a damn pay per view match up there from outer space.
You don't think Disney could do that?
Disney and NBC are going to have a trainee wrestling a fake news reporter for the title.
Yeah.
No, that's fake news.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Brian Stelter will be in the main event.
Brian Stelter versus Mark Dice.
Yeah, that's money right there. That's some good shit. Oh, man. So anyway, what the hell was I going to say?
So Wednesdays. I mean, there's Rick's show. There's Chris from the 740 show. There's roll call shows.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of people go live on Wednesday, so we couldn't do a show unless you guys just wanted to hang out with each other on Wednesday. And same with Friday. I mean, Friday is pretty busy.
Yeah.
So I guess we could just talk about the matches on Saturday.
Well, we could do a live stream on Rampage, but you guys you probably still be at work because it's going to be at 7 o'clock on Friday.
7. Yeah, they'll be pushing it.
Yeah. Normally it's on at 10, and that we can't do because of Gary's show. But this Friday we actually could because they're doing it earlier. But with your work and everything, we wouldn't. It would be the issue there. I don't know what's going on. There's on TV on TNT where they're doing it at 7. But yeah, just think in Dallas it's going to be 6 o'clock in the afternoon when that show starts.
Damn, that is early for them to start that early, ain't it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they're calling it Battle of the Belts too. The Battle of the Belts is a separate show. This time they're just making it part of Rampage. But I'm trying to see if I got the card listed somewhere. I'm trying to remember what. Tickets are $30 to $250 for that show.
Say that again.
Tickets are between $30 or $250 for that Rampage show on Friday.
What's that $250 ticket get you?
I don't know. It didn't say.
$30 would be nosebleed.
Yeah, probably. $250 is probably like a box or front row. One of the luxury box seats or something.
I remember one time I went to a wrestling match back in Richmond. and we had ringside seats. Well, not ringside, but we was like one, like third row back at
Mhm.
ringside. Man, I kind of wish I would have set up in the bleachers, man. People jumping all up, you still couldn't see shit. Good
We
thing I
had
didn't pay.
tickets. We had tickets to a Baltimore Arena event for like WCW or NWA or something like that. The Sting wrestled Muda, and the Sid Vicious, and the Twin Towers team wrestled. Yeah, it was a pretty good card from what I remember. I was pretty young, and they were floor seats. We were like, I don't know, 10, 15 rows back, and it was hard. It was, especially back then. I was kind of a short kid, so I couldn't really see over all the big guys in front of me when they jump up and start cheering and stuff. But it was cool to. I was far enough away that I could see the wrestlers, when they were standing on the corner, and to get to see how big some of the guys were. But then if they were on the other side of the ring, you couldn't really see them. So I'm like Buck. I'd rather be able to at least up on the first level so you can see everything.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we went.
Yeah, the only time I got to see them, go ahead, Rich.
I was gonna say when I was a kid, we went on Memorial Day weekend in '85. I want to say it was. The main event was Magnum TA versus Ric Flair, and we were in Three River Stadium, and we had seats looking down from what would have been like infield seats if it were a baseball game. But we weren't on the floor, but we were up where we could still see everything that was going on.
Yeah, I wish I had that. The only thing that saved me from seeing the Rascals was right at the end where they walked down. I was like about 5 rows in from the aisle, and they walked right past me. That was the only way I got to see them that good. But it seems so much better when you see it in person, though.
Mm,
Actually see it live.
yeah,
But I can't stand all them damn people and shit. People get stupid at shit like that.
trying to see if I can find the card listing for the show, but it's because the NBA playoffs. That's why they're doing it early because the NBA playoffs. But that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a card listing, and um, so far there's two matches
Yeah, on
listed.
Friday nights,
Okay,
yeah, Friday night you got the Georgia Connection, Shooting Connection on too.
yeah, Friday show. There's so far I found two matches that are listed. One's Adam Page versus Adam Cole, which we already talked about, and then an actual tranny who is competing for the AEW Women's Championship against Thunder Rosa. Yeah, you look at neither of those. There's no doubt whatsoever that that is a dude.
I, I always think back 20 years ago when everybody told me how stupid and idiot and racist I was when I said, well, what about the next thing? That's never going to happen. Yeah, no, people, you're stupid. And sure enough, deerkins are a thing and people can marry their muffler.
People are
I was
stealing.
thinking about marrying my reloading press.
Yeah. Remember how back in the day everybody complained about catalytic converters? Now you got people stealing them off of cars.
Yeah, I seen somewhere. I think it was on YouTube on how much that stuff is worth. That shit's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, don't they use like palladium or something in those things or something? One of those rare metals.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
three different types of material.
Yeah. One of
They
them is
use that.
either the palladium thing or platinum, but there's a bunch of good stuff inside of them. But law enforcement didn't take long to catch on to that. If you take, unless you know somebody, if you take a catalytic converter into like a junkyard to have it scrapped out, you're gonna have to answer questions. They
Hmm.
don't. They just don't take bags full of catalytic converters like they used to. Same thing with rolls of copper. You used to be able to take a full roll of copper in there straight off a job site, and then they, you know, pay you for it. Now, even if you strip it and grind it up and all that kind of stuff, they want to know where you got it from and how you ended up with it, and you got a chain of receipts.
Yeah. But when we were living down in Papa, there was a crime spree going on where people were breaking into old houses and stealing the copper pipe.
Hmm.
Shit,
Yeah,
they were doing that in new houses.
yeah.
A lot of new houses don't use copper anymore.
If you roll up with a truckload of copper, the guy's gonna want to know where you got it from, and whether people like it or not, you're gonna be judged by how you look. And if you look shady, then he's gonna ask you questions. And if you look like a plumber, then he's probably not.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to save up at work. I used to save them green pigtails that goes from the tractor to the trailer for the electrical part of it. I took about 300 of them in. Guy said, "Where'd you get them at?" I said, "I got them from my work. I work on them. I own my own company." Oh, okay. Went on.
Yeah, I keep, electricians clip off a piece of wire, and I keep them when I walk into a job site. And we got a bin, I guess maybe, I don't know how to describe it, about the size of like a 55-inch TV, but if it was a big square box, uh, 3/4 of the way full, maybe. Different, we replace piping or something like that, and you got 2 or 3 feet of scrap, you just throw it in a little bin.
Yeah. When it came to the wiring, man, when I worked construction, it was so long ago that we would just sweep the wiring scraps up and throw them in the trash.
Yeah, yeah. That's why, I mean, unless we demo some stuff, we'll go to the recycling bin once every 5 years or something like that. So we just take a handful of stuff and throw it in this bin. And then when we come across, a demo job where we're going to have a whole load of it, we take all the stuff that we've been collecting and, $100 here and there, kind of stuff like that. But just instead of paying to throw it away at the dump, we got a place to put it, so we just put it there.
Yeah, we threw away on the one job I was working quite a lot of metal siding. It just went in the dumpster.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hassle because you need so much of it to make any kind of money, and the amount that you need to be able to get there to where it's going to be recycled in the least amount of trips. So by the time you go through all that, unless you got a massive trailer or a massive truck where you can haul off hundreds and hundreds of pounds at one time, it's just not worth doing.
Oh yeah, this was a whole assisted living facility that we had taken the metal siding off in the renovation, and we're putting up a newer like wood siding, I guess you could call it. And all that metal siding, there was a good bit of it. There was a few 100 pounds of it just went into the dump.
Yeah, it's only a couple bucks worth.
Yeah. Today, people be stealing that shit up the side of a building.
Hell, nowadays people just steal to be stealing.
Mm-hmm. Well, hell, if it's not over a certain amount of money, depending on where you're at, you don't go to jail for it. People going into Walgreens and walking out with garbage bags full of shit. That's why San Francisco doesn't have a single Walgreens in that city anymore because of that shit. Anyway, how the hell did we get talking about this?
I have no clue.
Yes, but going back to what we were talking about, yeah, so far I found 2 matches that are announced for Friday. Makes me wonder how long that they're going to plan to have that match between the two Adams go. I mean, they had
And you're saying that New Japan is Wednesday then.
yeah,
Wednesday,
they're
right?
um
Okay.
yeah, I think so. The 13th. Is that what I said it was? Let me go look.
Yeah, I think
Sunday's the
Wednesday is
10th.
the
No,
13th.
16th. The 16th next Saturday. Yeah, New Japan's is next Saturday.
Okay.
The New Japan stuff's only on the internet, right?
Yeah, but that'll be 8. That'll be 8 o'clock on Saturday next Saturday.
Are they gonna have that live on like on Peacock or something?
No, um, they're going. It's going to be on New Japan World, which I have, but not until May. Otherwise, we would have to pay for it. For some reason, they're not giving that one as part of the New Japan subscription service until May. I don't know why. Don't ask. Don't ask me why. I do not know.
Why are they doing that, Rich?
I just told you I don't know.
So how they doing that?
Really silly.
That's a pretty good question because technically Buck didn't ask you why. He asked you how. You didn't say you didn't know how they were doing that. You said you didn't know why they were doing that. Good question, Buck.
They only have it advertised as being Japanese commentary too, so I have no idea what's going on with that.
That's Japanese supremacy
But it's a U.S. show.
from Japan.
No, from the United States. It's going to be in Chicago.
Just open the internment campus back up.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, there is no scheduling for that in English. What the fuck?
You don't read Japanese?
I don't speak Japanese. That's for damn sure.
You ain't
We'd have to have Ghost's wife
translate.
jump. Yeah, we'd have to get Ghost's wife or Seven Wonders' wife to come in and translate for us.
What the hell's that thing they got? Is it Boogle or some shit? What the hell's that damn teach you how to speak different languages?
Babel.
And that's one of them. And then they have that other. Damn it! What was the one my school? God damn it! I can't remember what the other one is. But I tried learning Spanish with the one, and it didn't work very well. Of course, I couldn't concentrate on it the whole time either. So the best part is it has the 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time start time, and then only has it listed as being in Japanese. Why?
Commies never change.
The Japanese aren't commies.
Tell
They're
me that the
imperialists.
Japanese, the World War II Japanese weren't commies?
No, they were imperialists.
What's the difference?
It was a monarchy.
What's the difference? It's actually worse.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not worse. I'm just saying there's a different governmental system there.
Imperialists never change.
I mean, it's not that expensive if they had it in English.
Racist.
Yeah, it's only $24.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head on. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and
Okay.
head on off. My internet's starting to act up again.
Okay.
All right, but I'm not far behind you. I gotta work in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I was getting ready to wrap
All
this
right,
up soon
I'm
anyway.
gonna go jump in the side chat.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna go in and jump in the side chat.
All right.
All right, see y'all later.
Yep, later. Yeah, I don't know why New Japan's doing it that way. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah, they're actually doing a pay-per-view in the U.S. for once, and it's only available in Japanese. And it's not included in your subscription to their streaming service. This makes no sense.
Is there any possible way that that's going to be live for, say, people in Japan and then reran for the American audience translated?
They may do that, but they have a U.S. Based announce team, so, and they've been advertising it on New Japan Strong, which is their U.S. show that's on the streaming service, as taking place and being on. So I don't get why they're having it only in Japanese.
All they'd have to do is just record.
Yeah, I know
Americans,
that.
And then just when they rerun it in America, just dub over the American.
Yeah. I was already thinking that's probably what they're going to do. I just don't get why they're not doing it live in English when they have an English announce team.
Because they're commies.
They're not commies. They're imperialists. My man. Not same. It's just weird. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they'll advertise it in English later in the week or something. I don't know. The thing with New Japan, with the New Japan stuff, we can always go back and watch that later. Like we can watch that next Sunday if it's in English. It's not that big a deal. I mean, to watch it live, I mean, you guys wouldn't know the difference anyway because you have no idea what's. You guys don't really watch the New Japan stuff.
The problem with watching it dubbed or announced in Japanese is the announcers are going to get on your nerves real quick.
Oh, tell me about it. I've done that.
It's going to take away from the viewing pleasure of the match.
Yeah. What's really funny is the when they do the once a year they do an event with CMLL, which is based out of Mexico, and the announcing is in Spanish.
Even worse.
I know a little Spanish, so I can get the gist of some of what they're saying, but not all of it. But you were saying about them doing it later in English. Yeah, they probably will. So they've done that before, where especially when COVID was first starting and they started New Japan started back up doing shows. The U.S. announce team were actually in the United States. The English announce team. You had Kevin Kelly and Rocky Romero. Kevin Kelly lives in Pennsylvania and Rocky Romero lives out in the LA area. So they were doing the announcing like we're doing this show here. And then they were adding it into the New Japan show, and it would be 3 days later you would see the show from Japan here in the United States with the English commentary.
Yeah, they just have to record them speaking English during the event. And
Right.
just when they rebroadcast it with the English announce team.
Yeah. All my point was that they could do that day live. There's no reason for them not to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like I said, that for New Japan Strong, they have a U.S. announce team here in the United States. So for whatever reason, they're just not having it advertised, even though they've been advertising it as being on the U.S. English show. They're not going to be streaming it that night in English. I don't. Some just doesn't seem right there.
Maybe they just messed up on the advertising bill.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if they just screwed up on the schedule and whatnot, because they've done that before too. So.
Well, I bet you they didn't screw up on the fact that you have to pay for it.
Oh, I guarantee they didn't.
They got that part right.
Yeah, they got that part right. Dang, Suzuki's going to be busy next weekend. He wrestles Friday and then he's on again on Saturday.
Who?
Minoru Suzuki. He's going to be on the AEW show on Friday, then the New Japan show on Saturday. I'm looking at the match card for the New Japan thing.
Right.
Yeah, Moxley's going to be on that show too on Saturday. But still not as busy as what the Briscoes were on Friday. Briscoes did the ROH show and then went and did the Impact show later that night. Remember what we were talking about, whether the last weekend, whether the Briscoes were on both shows that night or not? Yeah, they were on both shows in one night and lost both their matches.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. It really is. And the two tag teams they went against were FTR and the Good Brothers, who aren't the same style team.
Plus, were they at the same stadium?
They were both in Dallas.
So, I mean, you got to get from one stadium to the next, too.
Yeah. They were in two different arenas, but they were both in Dallas. So I don't know how close they were. It's crazy. Think about having to have one match go across town and have another match. And they couldn't have had much time between the matches either. and they got bloodied up in the match against FTR. Went across. They got the bleeding was under control by the time they left the arena. Went over to the other arena to get in that match and got busted right back open again.
It's just in time. The soreness from the first match sets in just in time for the second match to start.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I watched both matches, and both matches were good matches too. I mean, they worked their asses off that night. Much respect for the Briscoe brothers for that night. They wasn't like they put on one hell of a match against FTR and then went and just called it in against the Good Brothers. No, both matches were really good matches. I don't think the match against the Good Brothers went quite as long as what the FTR match did, but they were both really good. They were definitely better. Both matches were definitely better than the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match that they had in WrestleMania. Granted, Boogs did get injured in that match, so but still.
Overall, I'm enjoying the entertainment of the matches more, but I think that WrestleMania was pretty lame.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was. We should have if I would have known how to pay for the ROH show, that would have been the better one to watch. But that would have been on a Friday night, so that wouldn't have worked either. That ROH show was so much better. That combined with the Impact show would have been a better 2-day thing to do. And both of those happened on the same night. Both of those were on that Friday. What gets me is all the people online that liked that stupid Jackass match.
Yeah, that was really, that wasn't the biggest tragedy. That was just one of a couple big tragedies.
Yeah.
There's other matches that were just as pitiful as that.
Yeah, the SmackDown Tag Team title match where Boogs got injured. That match had potential to be something a lot better than what it was, but with him getting injured, they had to cut that match short. And then the match with the New Day, where they cut that match short because they were afraid they were going to run over on time. Which that they admitted that's what happened with that one. That's why that match was so short. That was what they call the flex match.
It's Johnny. I mean, that's so stupid to make a match out of Johnny Knoxville and humiliate.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a commercial for a movie. That's all that was.
And it would have been. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with your commercial, but do it right. Have it. Johnny Knoxville belongs backstage, getting slapped in the face because he said something slick to somebody who thought was a fake wrestler kind of deal, or getting kicked in his nuts by uh, Bianca Belair or something. Keep him backstage or as a sideshow. Come on.
Yeah. It was dumb. We knew going into it that was going to be dumb, and the giant mousetrap for the pin. Come on, man. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, I was embarrassed for wrestling with that. Papa Shango, Kamala, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy, all made you feel something when they came out in their matches, and you knew that Papa Shango wasn't a black wizard magic, voodoo guy. You
Right.
knew he was pretending, but it still had that feeling.
Yeah.
When Lex Luger came out and was talking about being the total package, you knew there was other dudes that had bigger, stronger bodies than him, but you believed that he was the most fit guy ever.
Well, to hear Arn Anderson tell it in the NWA locker room at the time, he was. He was the first guy that came out with a physique like that
Yeah,
cut.
I know, but there was bodybuilder magazines all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody was familiar with men being jacked up like that. But he still made you feel like he was the total package. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the best.
Yeah, and it didn't hurt that they threw him right in with the Four Horsemen too.
You throw a giant mousetrap on top of somebody, and if you get your finger caught in a mousetrap, you're going to be hurt. It's not a game.
Oh
You're not
no,
going to break your fingers off or kill yourself or nothing, but you're going to wish you didn't do that. A giant mousetrap like that, and that guy, he's like a regular wrestler, dude.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
if he comes in and fights Shawn Michaels next week or Roman Reigns next week and doesn't get slapped and then pinned with one finger, it's dumb. You just ruined that. I don't know.
Okay. A month ago, that guy that Johnny Knoxville beat with that giant mousetrap was the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I get you do the joke. I get the promo for the movie. I get I get all the stuff that people are going to say, but there's better ways to go about it and make it more entertaining. And the Johnny Knoxville match was shameful.
Yeah, that giant mousetrap, like I said, that the damn swing arm on that thing moved so slow. Once they finally even got it to spring, remember Knoxville was standing there trying to get it to spring as Sami Zayn was just laying there like, really? Come on, how long is this going to take?
Yeah.
Yeah, just none of that was. That whole setup was when the things didn't work the first time. Knoxville should have improvised and come up with some other way to pin him.
The mousetraps on the table. We've all seen Jackass. We've seen that dude, Steve-O or whatever, crawl through that room with all the mousetraps on the floor. We know what happens when you get body slammed on that. Even when they were moving the table, none of the traps were setting. None of the traps were springing.
No, and they were falling off.
And when you slam the guy on the table, none of the traps went off. I saw the movie. I saw what happened. I know when you fall down on a mousetrap, it pinches the crap out of you. It hurts like hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pulling that table out from under the ring, and the mousetraps are just sliding off of it.
And none of them are tripping.
No,
None of them.
no, not a single one of them. If they'd have fell off that table and tripped, they would have sprung up in the air. I've seen a mousetrap. What happens when you drop a mousetrap and it springs?
Yeah. I think that we talked about this from the very beginning. I think that's one of the reasons that the mockery of wrestling is strong, and people being able to treat it more like going to a movie and watching some outlandish stuff in a movie and not being like, oh, that's stupid, this is fake, the guy in tights and wrestling, like they say about wrestling, is because of stuff like that, that really, really outlandish foolishness that makes them look stupid when they should just get back to big, strong guys with scary looking faces and paint on their face and, cool costumes kicking the crap out of each other.
Yeah. The irony here is the people saying how great the Johnny Knoxville match are the same people who, after a really good match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, said that the ring not exploding just ruined the whole match.
And there's another thing. The whole barbed wire exploding match. It was so fun because it was outlandish. That's why we got it. Is because we've got to see what they're going to call exploding barbed wire cage matches. And it was a big stupid flop, and it was a dumb idea. So don't do stuff like that. And if you're going to do stuff like that, call the people down in Hollywood and hire some professionals to come out and set up some good stuff, not the traveling circus people that know how to build pipe bombs. If you're going to do some pyrotechnic cool stuff like that, shell out the money and make it good, or just don't do it.
The best part is, in testing, it worked just like it was supposed to. Something got disconnected or something in the course of the match, and they didn't realize it, and that's why it went.
But they really don't need it, though. They don't need to do that anymore.
Well, it was a nostalgia thing for what they did over in Japan for all those years, and some places still do, with the really crazy matches with the exploding barbed wire death match, which is a thing in Japan. That's why they were doing it. But it was just, like Big E getting his neck broke. It's just one of those things that can happen in professional wrestling. But the same people that are saying that match ruined the whole pay-per-view because it didn't blow up at the end are the same people saying that the Johnny Knoxville match was so great. Yeah, MKJ is on the right track. He said hire the Japanese to do the exploding barbed wire death matches. Well, I don't think they're going to do one of those again. But at any rate, we got to start wrapping this up for tonight. So, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining us. And see you next time.
Oh.
See you, MKJ. See you, Bub.
KJO says she knew the Knoxville match was bad once it went beyond 2 minutes. I knew it was bad once they announced it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that Vince McMahon would possibly take the worst selling of a stunner ever.
No, they could have had Johnny Knoxville get in there, like have some type of beef between him and that dude, and Johnny Knoxville be like, "No, I'm serious. I want to fight this guy. I'm gonna prove to him I'm not just like some chump that does stupid movies," and get in there and get whooped up for a minute or two by this big strong wrestler guy. Have Wee Man jump in the ring to save Johnny Knoxville and distract the wrestler. Johnny Knoxville hit him in the head with a chair and pin him. And then Johnny Knoxville could have been the hero. Wee Man could have been, center stage. And that could have been a great promotion for their movie.
Oh, even better yet, Wee Man jumps in the ring and gets kicked in the nuts.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would have been funny still. But, I mean, the reality of, like, you're the big wrestler guy and the little midget jumps in the ring. You're not gonna want to hurt the little guy. So you're gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? Come on, get out of here before I hurt you. Don't make me hurt you. And then bang, over the top of the head with the steel chair.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, Sami Zayn was the villain in that match.
Right, but that's what I mean. No disqualification match. Johnny Knoxville's going to prove that he's not some punk that you can push around just because you're some big wrestler guy.
Yeah. My point was, I could see if he were to face doing the, I don't want to hurt you, little guy. He's the freaking heel. Of course, he's going to kick him in the nuts.
Even then, he could just pick him up and threaten to do something to him. It'd be like talking trash to him, shaking him, and then Johnny Knoxville can bang him over the head. Then he saved Wee Man, knocked out the bad guy, got the 1-2-3 count.
Anyway, you get ready to wrap up the show, and you just start going off on the match again. That's how bad that match was, folks. Kingpin can't let it go at this point.
That should be Vince. I know you're listening, Vince. So give me a call, and I'll write the story for you from now on.
Yeah. Do that, Vince. People already think I'm booking the show anyway after Royal Rumble. So, when I called exactly what was going to happen during the pre-show.
All right. Good night.
Yeah. And we go over here, and we can one of MKGO's favorite parts. None of the kittens came over, so he doesn't get the kitten cam tonight, but he can have the outro. So until tomorrow night, have a good night, folks.
You guys are probably really scared right now, and I understand that completely. But I get the better of the deal, and even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this guy right here, we're the Space Cowboys.